At this point, both Daniel Greene and Naomi King are just milking this controversy. I couldn't even sit through the videos because it's kind of over. Like, what's the point at this juncture? Daniel Greene is a degenerate. We know this, and he's out there doing gross things. At least he was. I hope he's turned his life around. But he did not seem to commit a crime, as it may be seen. And so there's nothing else to talk about. But these guys keep making videos about it, despite the fact that Daniel Greene said he was going to get back to making fantasy news. And as I watched that video again on his new fantasy news, I just watched him do the exact same things where he's virtue signaling to the exact same SJWs like nothing happened, after he just gives this whole spiel about Naomi King again and then tries to sell his merch off of it. Pretty interesting to see how this goes, and I'm just like, what is happening here? It is a massive click fest on YouTube, obviously. We'll get into this news in just a moment. Please hit the like and subscribe button and join us here as we talk about all things fantasy. We are in opposition to the mainstream because the mainstream stands for wokeism, stands for degeneracy, and this is the type of thing that we need to get back out of fantasy. If you look at what fantasy used to be back in the day, if you go into the 40s and 50s, the golden age, if you go back into Tolkien, C.S. Lewis, like that's what classic fantasy was, and it was wonderful. And of course, it's been replaced with this whole like, reverse harem, girl boss fetish crap that's going on all the time, and we need to bring it back, and we do so by, of course, talking about things that are different in the culture, and of course trying to change the culture by applying pressure to what's going on with the mainstream. And the mainstream just keeps resisting. So I hope you'll join us here as we try to bring things back and talk about fun things in fantasy fiction. I really appreciate you guys being here. Please hit the like and subscribe button. I am a fantasy author myself, and I would love for you to check out My Adventures of Baron von Monocle. This is a 6-book series. It's about an airship crew that goes out and quests against monsters. They're nationalists. They're good people. They're heroes. None of the grimdark stuff that you see in a lot of modern fantasy. I'm trying to, again, bring things back. And so you'll enjoy this. It starts right here, and of course it picks up really great over the book series. You're going to love this. Hit it in the description below. Thank you guys so much for reading. It's available on ebook, print, and audio for your convenience. So now that the controversy's kind of died down, both fantasy news booktuber Daniel Greene and Naomi King seem to be trying to milk their YouTube channels for all they're worth, releasing dueling videos to slam each other in what appears to be naked attempts to milk the drama. I get it. Both of you really hate each other, and both of you really feel abused by each other. Just get over it already. I mean, it's time to move on, I think. Oh my gosh. 2 weeks ago, Naomi King, if you didn't know, accused fantasy booktube activist Daniel Greene of sexual assault in a long crying video where her story didn't quite sound right. Despite this, several prominent booktubers and podcasters disavowed Greene, resulting in his own Discord rioting against him. It was pretty wild. Brandon Sanderson also unfollowed him and then refollowed him a week later. We did a video on that. That gave me an eye roll. Brandon left a comment saying that Brandon should, if it was the problem of his team doing this while he was sleeping, as he quote said, then he's got SJW activists working for him, and they should probably not be there. He should hire real Christian people to work on things, and then they wouldn't have these problems. What did Brandon do in response? He blocked me from commenting on his channel. Of course. Thanks, Brandon Sanderson. But we know where you stand. You're just with these woke activists, and you're a sellout like all these people. When the details finally emerged, it appeared as if Naomi King was upset by someone who led her on and used her in a drug-fueled Vegas trip with a man who had a steady girlfriend. And that's why I say I don't feel bad for Daniel Greene. He's a degenerate too. These actions should be condemned, all of them. All these people should be condemned in this. The parties involved, they're all degenerates, including Daniel Greene's fiance, who says in recent videos allows him to pursue sexual relations with men because of his alleged bisexuality. Now, that's really weird. You've got a fiance wife who says, go out there and cheat on me with dudes. That's cool. But do it with a chick? That's not cool. And then Daniel tried to justify it, being like, oh, well, Naomi's non-binary. It's like, oh, okay. Whatever. These people are just sick. And this is the problem with our culture right now. This sickness has been allowed to permeate into our culture. And all these people have been put into these positions where they have giant YouTube channels like this because they're propped up by the mainstream because they're degenerates. This is a circular sort of situation where, of course, you take that ticket, you're selling your soul, and this is exactly what ends up in these prominent positions. It's never something that's just organically built or something that just gets big by accident. It's always something like this 100% of the time. So Daniel Greene released a new video this week again. So after his whole getting back to normal, where he goes, oh, it's been weird being canceled and then uncanceled in a week. Yeah, didn't learn anything. He's right back into it. He's right back shilling for the same people who canceled him, ignoring it like it never happened. And that shows that this is all kind of weirdly fake in a way, because I've been canceled a lot of times, my friends. I'd never get uncanceled. The mainstream media has never come to me offering me a book contract or anything like that. The people who have canceled me hundreds of times at this juncture, I don't know if it's hundreds, but had never come back and apologize, even though like we're just doing what we do over and over and over again. That's how reality works. Like when you're in Daniel Greene's situation, you know there's something kind of just fishy going on, right? And so this is it. He dropped another 3-minute video attacking Naomi King. This is his thumbnail right here. And he does this whole thing. She's mocking victims of sexual assault. Like, so he's, again, this entire video is just appealing to feminism, appealing to, like, I'm a feminist and I would never mock sexual assault victims. It's like, wait a minute, like, you're just gross. Like, you cheated on your fiance with this crazy person, and you went and did drugs with this person in Vegas, and like, we're supposed to, and it was entirely consensual. That makes it okay? No, it doesn't. And this is where like it drives me crazy, because like it's all about my immorality is fine, but this is bad immorality, and it's about just virtue signaling, because none of this stuff it matters or is really true. I mean, Naomi King is clearly just mentally ill, and she doesn't mean to mock any sexual assault victims or anything like that. She's just a nut job, okay? I mean, I'm just calling it like it is here. And so this is just silly virtue signaling. Why don't you, like, you know, I don't know. You've proved your innocence in terms of like a crime, right, Daniel? Like, just you won. Like, what are you doing here? But again, it's just same virtue signaling to the same woke establishment, and that's exactly what this is. It's all a clout play. Even this here is a clout play. And then Naomi King goes back for another clout play, answering questions, apologies, and goodbye. Now, I'm worried about this woman because I don't know what goodbye means. I don't know if it's YouTube or if she means something for her life or whatever. She needs real help. She really does. This is an hour-plus video. I couldn't get beyond a few minutes into it. She, of course, is upset with Daniel Greene. She goes, I'm not, and she's very weird, I'm not accusing him of rape. I never did, but I understand that's what was taken away from the video. So very, very odd on this front. Like I said, this girl's sick, and like she shouldn't have done it. Obviously, she's kind of getting her due, but at the same time, like, this kind of thing is also just pretty gross way to handle it at this juncture, and it goes to show that all of these people in this situation are just gross, and that is the big takeaway right here. So what do? We got to just change fantasy culture. I'm doing so as best I can by reporting the news on what's going on, and of course, I'm trying to do some literary analysis here. I just did a beautiful piece on Anne McCaffrey's sci-fi and fantasy work that stands the test of time because respect for traditional masculine and feminine roles. Now, this is pretty interesting, and this is something that a lot of other people won't tell you about. And McCaffrey is a great science fiction fantasy writer, and of course, people have taken her work and then kind of extrapolated upon it and ruined a lot of the genre with the whole romantasy crap that's being put out there by Rebecca Yarros and Sarah J. Maas and the like, that's flooding stands right now. But there's lessons to be learned here as to what good writing are. And this is the type of thing that, like, we need to get back to. So what is good writing? If this is bad degeneracy and all that, what is good in this deal? And so if you look at Anne McCaffrey's writing, it actually does come from romance novels quite a bit. And because of that, her female leads have like real femininity. Her male leads have real masculinity. And if you look at the tropes in all of her books, the ship who's saying it's always a powerful, competent man who's like the woman's in love with. And this one, the whole point of this book is this woman's brain is put into a ship, and the man is her pilot, basically, and they operate in tandem, and they both need each other. And it's a beautiful thing. This is quite the opposite of modern fantasy, where the girl don't need no man, but she's going to conquer him anyway. She acts like a man in that regard, right? It's crazy. This has real femininity to it. And it's pretty interesting because, like, those two juxtapositions are needed with each other, and it's a good thing. It is a holy thing, and it's even called it. The characters are called the brain ship, and then the brawn who guides them, and it's a beautiful situation here. This book will make you cry if you haven't read it already. The same thing, these tropes apply in Dragonflight. This is her probably most famous book, where a slave girl is basically rescued by this, like, most powerful man on Pern who nurtures her to become into her own. A beautiful story again. again, that celebrates the positive aspects of masculinity and femininity. And same with Crystal Singer, another girl who's an artist. She's down on her luck, and this guy sweeps her off into another world who's like a very powerful guy. And of course, that shapes her life and makes her into the hero that she ends up being as well. So it's really good stuff. This is the type of stuff that like we need to promote in culture, and that's why I'll clickbait you guys so I can actually talk about literary stuff because this is how we got to do it. I mean, the mainstream is not going to promote this channel. They're going to do everything they can to hide it, and so we'll just slowly build one day at a time and talk about the good things in science fiction and fantasy. So this is the situation right now, guys. Like I said, I at this point I'm just like, this is a pretty gross video. This is a pretty gross video. These guys need to just like knock it off. And of course, celebrate great fiction. What do you think? Leave a comment down below. Love to hear from you. Hit the like and subscribe button. I am hard at work writing a bunch of books this year. So excited for this, guys. Grab The Adventures of Baron von Monocle. Grab this series. This is clean fantasy. No degeneracy in it. You're going to love it. Really appreciate you for being there. And we'll be back soon.